Hey guys, this is my 2017 Springfield. I've got it set up in the wheel chock, ready to clean my fuel injectors. It's my first time doing it, so hopefully it goes well. I got this in the mail just a couple of days ago, the Motion Pro fuel injector cleaner. So I'm going to be trying this out. And I've got some WD contact cleaner that I'm going to be using to clean my fuel injectors. So let me get the camera set up and we'll start. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is take the seat off. To take the seat off, we take the side panels off on both sides. I'll just show you this side first. Put this aside. There's a 6mm hex. On this side, there's another 6mm hex on that side. Those two screws, and then usually there's a 6mm hex here as well, but I've got a different type of screw-on screw, so I can just twist it off. So let's take the seat off. Okay, once that's done, that's it. You just need to pull the seat behind and then take it out. That's it. Easy. Next, we gotta lift up the tank a little. Actually, I'm gonna take out the tank, but you don't need to. You just need to lift it up. So you need to remove these two screws here. I believe they're 6mm as well. So let's try that. Yeah. Yeah. Right here. I just took out the screw. There's another one on that side, and then there's some spacers here. So make sure to note where they are. Okay, so now you should be able to lift the tank up. There you go. And it helps if you have a wooden block that you can place here. I'm going to remove the tank. You don't need to, you just need to lift up the tank from here. To take the tank out, we have to, let me bring this closer. There's this little plug. Take this little plug out. There's a little hex bolt here, I believe 4 or 5mm. We'll find out. And then there's another one right here. Again, I think it's the same 4 or 5mm. So 2 screws, this little plug. Take it out. That will help us take this console cover, which is the speedometer and stuff. And then there's some wires underneath. We got to take them out. So let me keep this aside here. Let's try with 2 screwdrivers. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, that's out. This aside. Let's take those 2 screws out. 4mm, yes. Okay. Screws are out. Now we should be able to lift the console cover off. So I've got my speedometer connected. I've got my saddlebag locks connected, and if you guys have heated grips, they'll be connected here as well. And the fuel gauge. So let's unclip some of this. Okay, so I've taken out the console cover. So as you can see, my saddlebag connector for the locks, my fuel gauge. This is the speedometer. Sorry, this is the fuel gauge. This is the speedometer, and this is my power button. So taking that out, let's disconnect these. So here, I believe, let's get this out of the way. So there's this connector here. There's a hose here, this one hose here, and another. Oh, sorry. This is the fuel line. Okay, let's take this out first. So pull this out. This is the hose, and then this one. I'm gonna leave this here. Bring a rag, and when I take it out, there'll be some fuel spillage, just a little bit. It's a check valve, so it's not gonna overflow, but just a little. Come on, so keep the rag in. Squeeze. And pull. Yep, that's it. And there's a little hose here, so let's take this hose out. So that hose was a little hard to take out. I didn't want to damage it. So what I ended up doing is that hose is actually connected here, right here. So this was easier to take out, so I just disconnected this hose. So now it'll be easy to lift up the tank. Let's try it. So I believe just lift it up, and it should just slide out. Yep. Oh. Okay, so you see how that red wire, that's for my speakers and shit, so I'm gonna clean that up. It was hanging and, you know, visible, so that's why I took out the tank. But this guy kind of gives us a clearer view. So let me show you. That's the, just let me focus. That is the fuel injector, and there's a 5mm hex there. So I'm going to take that out, and the other one is actually behind it. You can't see it, but let me take this one out first. Okay, let me show you. So I took out the 5mm hex, and you got to be very careful when you pull out the fuel rail from the fuel injector. Keep a rag handy, because there'll be some fuel coming out. It's a check valve, so don't worry, it won't spill. There'll be a little fuel that coming out, so keep a rag handy. Now, once I've taken this one out, you should be able to see the other hex and the other fuel injector right there. Sorry, I can't focus. You see it right where my index finger is pointing. It's going to be hard to reach, so don't try to use a socket wrench. I think a simple L-shaped Allen key will do the trick. Alright, I pulled out the fuel injector and I disconnected the electric connector to the fuel injector. So be careful when you're pulling it out. Pulling it out from the manifold, this manifold here, you just got to kind of use two hands to kind of pull it out. Then to disconnect the electric connector, pull this red tab up and then squeeze this and then pull out, and then what you get is the fuel injector. And I haven't removed the other one. I'm going to remove that one, but you can kind of see, you can see the carbon buildup and all the muck and crap. So let's clean it up. Okay, so what I've done is I've put the engine side of the fuel injector into the Motion Pro fuel cleaner. So there are two holes here, and different sizes, so different fuel injectors will have different sizes. You can just try each one, and then this one, mine fits into port 2, And then I just kind of don't over tighten this. Actually, just finger tight or a little bit to hold it snug in place. Don't tighten it at all. And then I hook up the connector to my fuel injector, and then to here to the battery inside. And then the way you know it's working is if you press this, the light will turn on, but you'll also hear an audible click. That means the fuel injector is opening up. Perfect. So now I'm gonna flush it with this contact cleaner. And the engine side is inside, so it's gonna do a reverse flush, so it's not gonna spray out. And then I'll take it out and then reverse sides. So let me show you what to do. Record? Okay, so press this button, audible click. And then press again. Oh yeah, so when you are cleaning it with the spray side out, and then the engine side, the non-engine side in this device, make sure you remove this O-ring before you clamp it down. The reason is, if you don't remove this O-ring, there's potential for damage when you clamp it down with this, right? Okay, good. Okay, so the other good thing to do is, in addition to taking out the fuel injectors, is actually to take out the fuel rail as well, so you can clean it. And to do that is simple. The blue button here, there's another one on the other side. Squeeze it, pull out the fuel line which goes to the tank, and then you can take out the fuel line. So let me do that right now. And here you go. So it goes from you pull it out from the right side, and it goes in here and then connects to the fuel injector on the other side. So let's give it a nice clean with the same contact cleaner. Okay, so I got my fuel rail and my contact cleaner, and sorry plant, I just give it a nice clean. Clean it out. Okay. Nice and clean. Just let it dry. It's quick. It'll dry out quickly. Contact cleaner will. So. Hey guys, so I didn't film me putting stuff back because I actually haven't put everything back. I still got a little bit more work unrelated to the fuel injectors, but I did put the fuel injectors back. So I'll just quickly describe the process. So you put back the fuel rail that you disconnected and cleaned, and then you for the fuel injectors, actually, if you can, change the O-rings, but make sure you at least lubricate it with motor oil, and then take the O-rings out, lubricate it, put it back, put the fuel injectors back, connect the electric connectors to the fuel injector, connect the fuel line, and then the two 5mm hex, use your Allen key to tighten it up. If you have a special tool, because it's hard to reach with a torque wrench there, but you can have an adapter to torque it up. It's 89 inch-pounds, so if you want to torque it up to spec, or you can just, if you're comfortable with tightening it by hand, you can just do that. Once you connect once the fuel injectors are in, it's time to put the tank back on. So again, just reverse, slide the tank back in, and then connect the fuel line at the tank, at the main, at the top of the tank, and also the electrical connector. Don't forget to connect the hose that we disconnected at the where the tank meets the seat. Then you put put the two bolts and the spacers for your tank fasteners where it connects near the seat. That torque spec is 18 foot-pounds, so use a torque wrench. If you have a torque wrench, always use a torque wrench. Then you put the console cover back, the speedometer and stuff. So make sure you hook up those cables as well. The speedometer cable, the fuel gauge cable, the power button cable, as well as your saddlebag locks and heated grips if you have it. And then you put those two 4mm hex bolts for your console cover. Those are 84 inch-pounds torque specs, so you can use a torque wrench again to tighten that. And then the plastic plug at the bottom, plug that in, and then you're done. And then, oh yeah, put the seat back. Same way, in reverse, put the seat back. The two screws at the side, the two bolts at the side, again, there's 18 foot-pounds, so use a torque wrench if you have it. And at again, it's a 6mm bolt at the end, or I have a screw on one. And I usually just don't use a torque wrench. I don't over tighten. I just tighten it as to what I feel is right. And there you go. That's done. I haven't put the tank back on yet. I'll do it tomorrow because I got a little more work. I want to clean up those wires, as I mentioned. Alright guys, hope this helped.